Hey, what's up guys, my name is Kai, and a few days ago I just watched the movie Tenet by Christopher Nolan with my wife, and we even got free posters from the movie theater. Very nice. But anyways, after watching the film and the interview, I feel like there's a lot of things that us filmmakers can learn from the whole production of this movie, like how they made it and what was the mentality of Christopher Nolan while making this film. Hopefully these things can also improve your films in the future. I am going to mention about things that you might see in the trailer, but nothing about the storyline. Obviously there's a lot of stuff that I didn't understand, there's a lot of confusion, but the whole experience, I really enjoyed the whole experience of this film. Like I didn't watch it in IMAX, but when I'm watching it, I'm just like, I love filmmaking. This is film. The process of making this film is extremely difficult. We have to understand that Christopher Nolan, he wrote an extremely complicated plot. Not only he has to fully understand what is going on, he has to explain it to others as well. So you would know how hard it is during the production. So regardless of the criticism, I really appreciate Nolan's attempt of making good films. Even today with like movies full of CGI and all that stuff. I'm not saying CGI is bad, but I'm just saying that at least he's still trying to keep his own originality in the film and not getting affected by, you know, all this new stuff going on in the film industry. But anyways, let's talk about the stuff that we can learn from this film and from what Christopher Nolan is doing during the film. The first thing, obviously, everyone knows that Christopher Nolan, he doesn't like to use CGI, although he did use CGI in movies like Interstellar, but he really hated it and he found it really boring. So a very good example that I can give is something that happened while I was watching the film with my wife. You guys also saw in the trailer, there was a plane that crashed into the building. So for those who don't know, Nolan actually, they bought a plane and they crashed it into the building. When the scene of that plane was crashing into a building, my wife, she, secretly go to my ear and she said, "Oh my gosh, how can they crash a real plane into a building?" She actually believed that it was a real plane. So it really got me interested, like why did she believe that this plane was real? But for example, for Fast and Furious, they crashed real cars as well and partially some CGI. But when Christopher Nolan, he crashed like a real plane, immediately my wife gave a reaction like that. It's like she wouldn't even think that it's a CGI. She just immediately assumed that it's real. And I think that's what Nolan's trying to do. He wants people to actually feel the thing, like feel the realness of the film. So he believes that doing real stuff, the audience is actually gonna feel it. It actually happened with my wife, so I really believe that it is true. I was talking about this example to one of my friends who is a director, and he actually said that he believed one of the factors that people feel this way is also because of the camera angle. Because when they're actually crashing the plane, they could only crash it once. So probably they had a lot of cameras shooting, as a backup in case that the main camera doesn't work. But the camera angle that they had is really like wide and, safe angle. So in case one doesn't work, at least the other sees everything. And he said that these camera angles are very organic. You're not trying to make any fancy camera movement, dolly in, dolly out. But when you're watching movies like Fast and Furious, they always have these slow motion and, camera going around the cars, between cars. Or, even I think movies like Deadpool, they had this very interesting intro, it's like slow motion and then camera going everyone's face and car and all that stuff. And it's not that dramatic. It's just like a plane crash and that's it. And I think that the camera angle and how you're doing your camera movement, all that shot, there is an organic way of doing it. And I think because Christopher Nolan, he did all of these shots in this organic way, it also adds up to this feeling of realness. There's no weird camera angle basically. Well, obviously everyone has their own artistic choice, but I think Nolan's style is just to keep everything real as possible. And I think one of the actors, I think is Robert Pattinson, he said that when he was shooting this film, everything is real, right? So the actors, they really can get into the mood of the character because everything is real. There's no green screen. You don't have to pretend that there's a monster or something. He said that he feels like he's shooting a documentary of something real, because everything is real. You don't feel like you're on set. You feel like you're actually there. This really helps the actors get into the character and maybe even have better acting because of this thing. I think even as a director, if you see everything there, you don't have to imagine CGI. It's gonna help your directing as well. So the second thing that I learned from this film is that I heard Christopher Nolan, he spent at least 6 months testing all of these the shots and everything. And one of the reasons is because he's using IMAX and is extremely expensive. The other reason is because of how complicated this plot is. You know, 6 months is sometimes like some people spend 1 month shooting a whole feature film. This guy spent 6 months doing only testing. That's incredible, you know. So there are times that I could have done a few testing before the shooting, but I choose not to because I feel, you know, I'm confident that I can actually make it work doing set. But when it's actually the time to shoot, I got confused, and then I wished I did the testing. So next time, regardless of whatever I'm shooting, I have to give my everything into every project and really try to do testing before I shoot, so that everything could be as how I imagine doing shooting. You know, obviously not every project need to be tested, but you know, I like this idea that he really spent time testing all these shots. And another thing that I heard during his interview, actually I don't remember if it was for Tenet or Interstellar, but he said that whenever he's writing a new story, he takes off his hat, you know, his director's hat, and fully think as a writer. You know, if you're writing your script, your story, whatever, and you have the mindset of a director and a writer, sometimes it limits your creativity, because you would think, you know, when you're thinking as a director, you think, oh my god, this is not possible to shoot. You know, you start to limit your creativity. So what he does is that he just wants to think the most epic, the best story ever. You know, he doesn't care about if it's possible or not, even, you know, even it can only imagine it. You know, he just writes the most epic thing, and then after he's done writing, he just put back his director's hat, and it's like, oh my god, what have I done? You know, it's like, it's kind of interesting. It's like so many personalities, but he just doesn't want to limit his creativity. You know, after he's done writing, he, as a director, he will find his way to, you know, achieve all of this shot. It's so inspiring to me, because he wants to do everything the best possible and the most creative possible. Although as indie filmmakers like us, we may not be able to apply what he does, obviously, because he has like huge budget. And I still feel like he has this mentality, not because he has a lot of money, but he has this spirit of a real filmmaker. You know, he just want to make everything as good as possible. I believe even he was a small filmmaker, he would still write the most epic script, man. Maybe he'll just, you know, sell it to other people to make it for him. I don't know, but yeah, that's something really interesting. Lastly, this is not something that I learned from the movie Tenet, but like as a whole career of Christopher Nolan, is that he didn't say this, but I just feel like there are no competition if there are no, you know, there's no identical styles. Because first of all, everyone has their own character, everyone has their own style. Literally everyone is different, you know. So if you really stay true to your own style and to your own character, there's literally no competition, because in general, competition means that, you know, there's two things the same. It's like if Apple doesn't need to compare with Nike as a product, you know, because Apple is making tech product and Nike is making sports product. They don't need to compete with each other because they're making different stuff. And same thing goes to film. If you have your own style, your own method of making film, you don't need to worry about the competition, because the only person you're competing is yourself. You know, when you watch a film, I think most people will, you know, fans of Nolan, they would know that this is a Nolan film. It's very obvious, you know, his style, his method, his way of telling stories. The only way for you to really rise up, as far as I see, is to really just do your own thing and don't even try to copy anyone. Obviously you can get inspired, but he also said that he wants to just stay true to himself. And it sounds so cheesy, but I really think that there's an element of truth to it. You know, just you don't copy, you just do your own thing. You know, nobody can compete with you unless someone trying to copy you and then they're doing better than you. Maybe that would be a competition, but other than that, I feel like this is something that really inspired me. You know, just I hope one day maybe I can shoot something and people see it and say, this is Kai's style. I don't know, I don't think it's possible, but hopefully one day it's gonna be real. Anyways, we'll see about that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.